All right. Page 176. We're going to start off just by doing substitution. The other method we're going to look at tomorrow, which is elimination. So we're not doing that today. Now, what's a system of equations? It is... Okay, it could be functions. You could make it made up of functions, but what's a system of equations? Yes, your notes should have it from yesterday. It is two or more linear equations that have the same variables. Okay, it just means you're trying to not solve for just one equation, you're solving for two or more. In our case, we're going to do two. All right, write this down here. Y equals 4x. And then underneath that, write y equals 2x plus 36. Y equals 2x plus 36. All right, this is a system of equations because it has how many equations? 2. And do they have the same variables? Yep, so they're a system. And this little half brace, or brace on one side, that's saying that these two go together. Okay, you could solve this system by graphing. But who can tell me what makes this graphing problem a little bit tougher for you guys on your papers?
36 is a good number.
Yeah, 36. You had to start on 36 on the y-axis, so way up there. But Mr. A, can you go by 2's? Yep, so maybe you go up here. But then that's still kind of big, and then I have that. Okay, when you see the answer, you're going to realize graphing was not the best way. But could you graph to solve? The answer to that is yes, you could graph to solve. Okay, I'm going to go over a property. I'm going to go over a property that that we cover a lot in high school, but in middle school we don't really give it. I don't know why. Okay, it's called the transitive property, and this is what it means. I'm going to pick on somebody here, a young lady. So guys, they got away with that. Sophie, okay, I'm going to use you, and don't goof off about this example. It's when I tutor, I use this for young ladies, and then I'll use something else for men, but here's what it is. All right, Sophie is a girl. Okay, Sophie equals a girl, right? Sophie also equals a lady, okay? So what do I know about a girl and a lady? They are usually the same thing. That's called the transitive property. If I am something and I am something else, and I can say equals, not just like I partly, then you can say those two are equal. Math, it's a lot clearer. Okay, what does y equal here? 4x. What does y equal down here? 2x plus 36. What does that tell me? Get me another equation off of those two facts. If y equals a lady and y equals a girl, what do I know about a lady and a girl? They also are equal. So I can write an equation 4x equals 2x plus 36. Is that true or not? I mean, you tell me if that makes sense or not. What does y equal up here? What does y equal down here? So that means that those two things equal one another according to those statements made right there. Like, why would I want to do that? Well, look what you have in your equation. How many variables are here? Everyone should be writing this down. No one should be kind of just staring here. What do I do to solve for this equation? Because I only have one variable now. Okay, good. Combine like terms. How do you do it?
Yeah, take 2x, subtract 2x.
Yeah, isn't x on both sides? I want it only on one side, so one way to do that is to subtract 2x from both sides, which I'm allowed to do. That's the addition property, the subtraction property of equality. What's 4x minus 2x? 2x. What's 2x minus 2x? 0. What's 0 plus 36? 36. Is that x though? Is that giving me what x is? Nope. How do I find x? Last step. Divide both sides by 2, and I get x equals 18. Got it. That's half my answer. Do you remember the problems 14 and 12? You remember doing those problems? What was the thing I circled at the end? It was an ordered pair. And what does an ordered pair have? How many numbers? 2. How many numbers do I have up there as my answer? I have 1. What else do I need then? I need a y value. And this is how I'm going to do it. Ready? What is this lesson called? Solving systems of equations by substitution. So guess what I'm going to do? To find the other variable, I'm going to substitute. Instead of x, what am I going to put? Okay? Instead of x right here, what should I put? 18. So does anyone know what 4 times 18 is? What does y equal therefore? 72 is the answer for y. Ooh. Think about that on your graph. Just picture in your mind. You'd go to the right 18 and then up 72. That would be where they intersect. Could you do that? I think you could do that. Do you want to do that? No, I don't want you to do that. I hope you don't want to do that. There's got to be another way, and it's called substitution. But you know what? I don't know if that's even right. What's 4 times 18? 72, right? That works. But shouldn't it also work down here? What's 2 times 18? 36 plus 36? Oh, it works for both. And that makes it the solution to this system of equations. And how do I want the solution written? Ordered pair, what number comes first? Good, and then 72. And that is my final answer. And that answer works on both equations at the same time.
I feel like something was invented in 1872.
Oh, that might be a famous year. I don't know. Okay, so you guys, how many of you understand that 4x is equal to 2x plus 36? How many of you get that? That this has to equal that, if they both equal y. Good. Then you can make an equation that no longer has a y. You only have an x. Solve for that x, and you're like, but what about y? Substitute it back into x, whatever you got for x there. Substitute it back in there, you find your y. All right, let's do another one. Let's go with y equals x minus 4. Y equals x minus 4. And then y equals 2x. Y equals 2x. All right. Sorry. It's hard to see back there. What does y equal in the top equation?
X minus 4.
X minus 4. What does y equal in the bottom equation?
2x.
Somebody give me another equation using that info if you know the transitive property. Y is this, y is that. Philip? 2x equals x minus 4 is correct. Yep. These two have to equal one another because they both equal y. Transitive property, bless you. The transitive property is this, officially is, if A equals B and C equals B, then A equals C. Does that make sense? I'll put it up here. If A equals B and C equals B, what do you know about A and C? They equal each other. That's the transitive property. And I'm telling you right now, in geometry, you're going to see it again. You're going to be like, what? If A equals a girl, and you can say if B equals a girl and B equals a lady, what do you know about a girl and a lady? They equal one another. I hope that's not too bad. Okay, how do you solve this x? How do you solve for x over there? Anyone want to help me out?
So you would subtract x from both sides.
Good. Subtract x from both sides. Very nice. What's 2x minus x? Yeah, you can just put x or 1x, and then you get negative 4. Ooh. So what does x equal? Negative 4. Great. I got half my answer. How do I find out the other half? You're going to, what's that key word? Substitute. And you're like, why do we substitute? You've been substituting since 4th grade. Whenever you put one number in for a variable, that's substitution. So this is not even a new lesson, but an old one with more complicated expressions. I don't know. Okay, how do I find my y? Someone help me out with y. Hudson?
You put negative 4 in for x.
And what do we call that putting into?
Subtraction. Substitute.
Good, substituting. And where do you want to put it in? Sorry?
In the
2x. Okay, so y equals 2 times negative 4. So what does y equal? negative 8. Great. How many of you would have put it into the top equation? How many would have said, okay, so let's see. So I got y equals negative 8. Y also equals negative 4 minus 4, right? What's negative 4 minus 4? You still get y equals negative 8. So regardless of which one you use, you're going to get the right answer. So what's my final answer? Negative 4, negative 8. How do I know that's my final answer and I know that has to be right? Is it has to fit into not one equation, but both of them, right? Okay, could I solve this by graphing? Yes, I could. And where would those two lines intersect? Yes, sir, Alex? Negative 4, negative 8. But listen, why do you think we don't want to graph all these problems? Why do you think I don't want to start graphing every problem I do? What do you think is the problem with that? We saw it in the last one. Anybody? Raise your hand. Sorry. It takes a long time yet to get that whole graph going here. What else? What's another reason? It takes time. Yes, sir?
It could be like big numbers.
Big numbers. I'm going to go down. I'm going to go 18 and 72. But Mr. A, you can go by 2s. Yeah, you can go 18 and 72. Mr. A, can you go by 20s? Yep. You can go 18 and then 72. You know what the problem with that is? Do you remember that 2/3 y-intercept problem on number 14? That's the problem. You're going to have to start estimating. I'm going to go by 20s, Mr. A. Okay, where's 18 go? Where does it go? Is it here or is it more like right here? You're like, there's no difference. There's a difference. Where would 72 go on that? If you're going by 20s, right? 20, 40, 60, 72 would be, they're looking at me, I better put something down. Maybe like, I don't know, right there. You're starting to estimate, and that's going to cause you to get a wrong answer. You're not going to get that. It's going to be very hard to do. Okay, so graphing's cool, but it's not the best. How many of you kind of get this on your own? Kind of get it? All right, and if you don't, practice is going to help you out. So let's try this one. Let's go with y equals negative x. Y equals negative x, and then y also equals 3x minus 8. Okay. You may begin. I want my x and I want my y, and I want an ordered pair, and it has to fit both equations. Yes, sir?
72 and 18.
You can go by
9s.
You can go by 9s, you can even go by 18s, but that's because you knew the answer. Imagine if you didn't know the answer. You're like, what do I go by? I would safely go by 2s, maybe try 4s, but then I didn't know that was my answer until I actually did it. So that's the hard part about that. But that, good. You can go by 9s and by 18s. That sounds like fun. Okay, y equals something and y equals something else. So what's my equation I get from that? Let's go with Jackson. What equation did you get to start working it out?
Negative x equals 3x minus 8.
Good. 3x minus 8. So negative x equals 3x minus 8. So that's your first equation. Michelle, how did you solve this one?
I added x.
Okay, you added x. This is one way to do it. By the way, there are many ways that, okay, there are a lot of ways. I'm just going to be blunt. A lot of ways. What's negative x plus x? It's 0 equals, what's 3x plus x? 4x minus 8. You're like, that didn't help. Yes, it did. Is x on only one side? Yes, but is x all by itself? No. So how do I get it by itself? Eva, what would you do here?
If you add negative or positive 8.
Add 8 to both sides. I get 8 equals 4x. Right, because 0 plus 8 is 8, and negative 8 plus 8 canceled out. And then what's your final answer with that, Natalie? X equals 2. How many of you did not do it this way? You did not do that. How many of you got, keep your hands up. Keep your hands up if you still got x equals 2. Okay, so do you notice most of you, when you work this out a different way, you still should get x equals 2. Did anyone get x equals negative 2? Okay, I think I know what happened on that one. Okay, so you subtracted 4, well, You did not subtract 4x. You subtracted 3x from both sides. And what's negative 1x minus 3x? Negative 4x equals negative 8. So one of these signs got flipped around. And then divide both sides by negative 4. And what do you get? 2. Same thing. I get the same thing. I did it 2 different ways. There are other ways to do it. How many of you got your y value? You're done with your y. Got it. Good. Did it work on both of them? Does it check on both? You could do that, a mental check. Just kind of look at it. All right. Andrew, how did you find your y value? Sorry, I need more space. So I got x equals 2. So how did you find your y value?
Just by substituting 2 for x.
Which one?
I just started with the top.
Okay, so here, what's the opposite of x? You're like, well, what's x? 2. So what's the opposite of 2? Negative 2. So I got y equals negative 2. How many of you substituted into the bottom equation? Okay, so here you should have gotten y equals 3 times 2 minus 8. What's 3 times 2? Minus 8? You get the same thing no matter what. You should get the same thing. What's my final answer? 2, negative 2. That's my final. That's what I want to see on these answers. By the way, what were my answers on last night's homework? They were ordered pairs, right? They were those. We're doing the same problems, types of problems, but doing different methods to solve them. Okay, yes, sir.
So x goes first and y second always?
Always, x and y. Yep, that's a good one. Yes, sir.
On the test, will we be allowed to just do this instead of graphing?
That's a good question. You mean on this test right here? Like the one on chapter 6? Let me think about that. I need to think more about that. This is the age-old question that I get, and I always forget my answer. I'm going to have you do, I'm going to say, solve by graphing, solve by substitution, solve by elimination, and then some problems are going to be solve. So what do you do on solve by graphing? Graph. What do you do to solve by substitution? Substitute. What do you do by solve by eliminating? Eliminate. That's tomorrow. If I just say to solve, what can you do? Anything you want. You can pick anyone. By the way, to maybe help you on that answer, you almost always don't want to use graphing. So graphing is our least preferred method. Because what happens on the graphs, I take a long time, I get my slope intercept, start putting things on, and they cross, and I don't even know what that is because I messed up my line somehow. Let's do better ways.
Sure, you have to like check your answer with substitution?
Yeah, so remember the graphs you have that some of you are going to correct? If you want to know what the answers are, you can substitute that same problem and it could work, but some of the numbers are a little bit harder. It still can be solved by substitution. Yes, sir?
Would you like provide like a graphic?
Yeah, I'll give you a grid. Nice little tick mark. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. It's hard to graph without the grid.
It's hard to graph without the grid. It's hard to graph.
All right. How many of you are like, I got this, mister, I got it. Just give me a problem. All right. Maybe not that anxious, but let me give you a problem anyway. This one's a little different. And this is my last one. 6x plus 3y. 6x plus 3y equals 15. And then I have 4x plus 2y equals 8. 4x plus 2y equals 8. What's the difference between timeout? I don't know how I got that. I'm so sorry, but if you have a pencil, you can do what I'm doing. Erase that bottom one. That is not the second equation. I don't know how I got that. Must have switched problems. So 6x plus 3y equals 15, and then 3x plus 3y equals 9. 3x plus 3y equals 9. Thank you. And I want to make sure I write this down because we don't want to work out a different problem. Okay. What's different about this problem and the other problems? So, say it again? They're different forms, right? This is actually what form? Do you know? Standard form. It's standard form. I don't want them in standard form. I want to get them, well, hold on. Is this standard form you said? I don't want it. slope-intercept form. Don't forget standard form. He's not left behind anywhere. He's going to come back and he's going to help us out because standard form is nice, but not today. How do I get this one in slope-intercept form, that top equation? How do I get that in slope-intercept? Yes, sir?
Subtract 6x from both sides.
All right, I get 3y equals negative 6x plus 15. And last step, what do I do, guys? Go. Divide everything by 3. I get y equals negative 2x plus 5. That is slope-intercept form. I like that. I'm going to circle it because I'm going to use that later. How do I get that second equation to be in slope-intercept form, or at least solve for y? You may begin. I know one of you knows. Okay, yes, sir? Andrew? Subtract 3x from both sides. You are left with 3y equals negative 3x plus 9. And then last step here, divide everything by 3. Everything by 3. I get y equals negative 1x plus 3. That's my second one. Those are not my answers. What do I want as my answer on these problems? An ordered pair. And those are not ordered pairs, but they will get me to it. Y equals a girl, y equals a lady. What do I know about a girl and a lady? They equal another. What's that equation then? Hagen, do you know what the equation would be? Sorry, let me repeat it. Y equals a girl, y equals a lady. Let me put it in picture, diagram form. What y equals a girl and y equals a lady. So what equals each other?
Negative x plus 3 equals negative 2x plus 5.
Okay. Negative x plus 3 equals 2x. Was it 2x minus 5? Okay.
Plus 5.
Plus 5? Is it this? Because I don't want to... I took my screen away. Is that what it is? Please confirm it because I don't want to work this out. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir?
Is the 2x negative?
Yep, negative 2x. Thank you. It's negative 2x plus 5. Thank you. That's okay. That's all right. That's why I wanted confirmation because I don't want to do the wrong problem. Okay, how do I solve this one? How would you do it? Philip?
You add
Okay, you can add x to both sides. And then that cancels out. I'm left with 3 equals negative x plus 5. Or negative 1x plus 5. How do I solve this one, Matthew? So I want to get x by itself.
You subtract or add 1.
Close. You're going to say subtract 5 from both sides. Because that gets rid of that plus 5. What's 3 minus 5? Negative 2 equals negative 1x. I don't want what negative 1x is. I want what positive 1x is. Divide both sides by negative 1. And what do I get? X equals 2. That's only half my answer. So what process am I going to go to get my y? I heard someone say it. Substitute. X in for either one of those equations that I found right here. These are the ones I want to use. I circled them for a reason. So what did x equal for us again? X equals
2.
2, okay. So what's negative 2 plus 3? Okay, y equals 1 right there. And if you're like, wait, but what if you use this one? What's negative 2 times 2 plus 5? You get negative 4, good, plus 5. You get y equals 1. What's my final answer? 2, 1. If you graph these two lines, where are they going to intercept? 2, 1, right there, right there. And you can find that out mathematically or with a graph. Yesterday was a graph, today is a process we call substitution. All right, your homework, 2 through 14 even.
Sorry, is there going to be a problem where
Sorry, say that one more time.
can there be a question where someone didn't
Is that the rumor? How about this, Drew? Can I do one better? Not one person can get 2 problems off, but everyone can get 1 problem off. Number 4 is a bonus. So if you do that one, great. You get it right, awesome. If you do it and get it wrong, it doesn't count against you. If you don't do it, it doesn't hurt you. I would try it if you can, but you don't have to get number 4. That's my compromise. You don't have to do it, but I would try it. And then if you like get stuck or lost or have no clue, then you're done.